From the roar of a V8 on a wide American highway to the whispery purr of a Japanese inline-4 navigating the city streets of Tokyo, one thing is abundantly clear. American and Japanese engines reflect two very different philosophies of engineering, culture, and consumer priorities. However, why are they so different, and what is it that makes each one excel in its own unique way? Let's do an in-depth investigation into the history, technology, culture, and design philosophy that underpins both of these. First, we will discuss our historical roots, which are rooted in several worlds. It is necessary to go back to the beginning in order to have an understanding of how these engine cultures developed. Freedom, scale, and power were the driving forces behind the automotive revolution in the United States of America. Following World War II, the economy of the United States experienced a period of rapid expansion. The price of gasoline was low, roadways were vast, and the American people yearned for strong automobiles that could drive long distances. The automakers of Detroit replied by developing large displacement V8 engines, which provided a steady torque, effortless acceleration, and durability for long miles of road. In Japan, things were very different from what they were previously. In the aftermath of World War II, the nation was confronted with intensive urbanization, a lack of fuel, and extensive reconstruction. It was necessary for Japanese engineers to build automobiles that were not only compact, but also efficient and dependable, with a focus on fuel economy, affordability, and ease of maintenance. Their expertise in small displacement engines, which were often inline-3 or inline-4 configurations, began to shine at this point. While the United States of America constructed powerhouses, Japan constructed survivors, muscle to precision. Since the beginning of time, the primary focus of American engines has been on simplicity and raw power. The development of pushrod V8 engines, long-stroke designs, and torque-heavy construction became the norm. This type of engine is ideal for use in muscle vehicles and trucks since it is simple to rebuild, requires little effort to tune, and generates a significant amount of torque at low end. In order to achieve the most amount of muscle for the least amount of money, they were developed with power per dollar in mind. On the other hand, Japanese engines place a significant emphasis on employing precision engineering. Double overhead cams DOHC, variable valve timing VVT, and turbocharging are examples of technologies that were widespread in the United States of America long before they were generally adopted by American automakers. Through the implementation of these advances, Japanese automobiles were able to generate a greater number of horsepower per liter, frequently revving higher and functioning more efficiently. The famed Honda VTEC technology, for instance, made it possible for smaller engines to breathe like larger ones when it was necessary, without compromising the fuel economy of the vehicle. It was not via physical force that the Toyota 2JZ Inline-6 became famed for its bulletproof reliability and vast tuning possibilities. Rather, it was through their precise tolerances and superb design that they achieved this reputation. Reliability and longevity. Who wins the long game? Engines manufactured in Japan have earned a legendary reputation for their dependability. Vehicles manufactured by Toyota, Honda, and Subaru were constructed on engines that were capable of accumulating more than 200,000 miles with only a modest amount of maintenance. These results were not the result of chance. Rather, they were the result of their devotion with precision manufacturing, efficient cooling, balanced internals, and thorough testing. American engines, on the other hand, have always sacrificed long-term dependability in favor of physical power and lower initial costs. In spite of this, some American V8s, particularly those found in the truck lineups of General Motors and Ford, have demonstrated great durability when subjected to the appropriate conditions. There is a good reason why certain engines, such as the Chevrolet LS series and Ford's 7.3L Power Stroke diesel, have been so popular among enthusiasts. On the other hand, older American engines occasionally suffered from sloppier tolerances, poor emissions management, or rushed designs, particularly during the period of malaise that occurred between the 1970s and the 1980s that occurred. Tuning and the potential within the aftermarket. Things are about to become a little bit hot. There is a significant aftermarket for American engines, particularly V8s, which results in tremendous torque. The process of replacing camshafts, installing superchargers, or doing a complete engine rebuild is not too complicated. Because of this, muscle vehicles such as the Mustang, Camaro, and Challenger continue to be popular platforms for performance modifications. On the other hand, high-rev tuners appear to be particularly fond of Japanese engines. The Nissan RB26, the Mitsubishi 4G63, and the Mazda Rotary 13B are just a few examples of engines that have been pushed to their limits beyond what was specified by their manufacturers. The fact that these motors are designed to withstand boost and rev at high speeds makes them an excellent choice for drifting, circuit racing, or street builds. Therefore, while American motors provide you with a hammer, Japanese engines provide you with a scale, and both of these tools are capable of carving a masterpiece. Culture behind the engines. Not only are these discrepancies engineering related, but they are also cultural. Individuality, road trips, and supremacy are all associated with driving in the United States of America. Generally speaking, larger is preferable. The American engine design was influenced by a number of factors, including the growl of a V8, the ability to tow a boat or smash the quarter mile, and the preference for high-displacement engines on broad highways. There is a strong emphasis on simplicity, efficiency, and harmony in Japanese culture. Because to constrained roadways, high fuel prices, and stringent emission regulations, smaller, cleaner engines were favored. There is also a strong sense of pride in craftsmanship, which the Japanese refer to as monozukuri. This has had an impact on the overall quality of the construction and the precision of each component. Even tastes in motorsports reflect this divide. In the United States, NASCAR and drag racing are popular, whereas in Japan, Touge mountain pass racing, time attack, and drifting are more popular modes of competition, the concept of blurred lines in the contemporary landscape. To my surprise, the lines are becoming increasingly blurry in the market today. Larger engines and turbocharged V6s are being produced by Japanese automakers in order to meet the demand from around the world. Toyota's new twin-turbo V6 engine in the Tundra and Nissan's 5.6-liter Endurance V8 engine demonstrate that both companies are capable of going large when they so want. At the same time, American brands are gradually adopting engines that are more compact and run more efficiently. The EcoBoost range of vehicles from Ford demonstrates that even a 4-cylinder engine can provide power to a Mustang or an F-150. Additionally, General Motors is making significant investments in direct injection and turbocharged engines that are smaller in size. Both engineering schools are being pushed toward a shared future by emission rules, global markets, and electrification. This future is one in which efficiency, power, and dependability must coexist. The conclusion is that there are two philosophies but one goal. Although the Japanese and American motors industries had different approaches, their ultimate goal was to solve the same fundamental problem: the construction of engines that are capable of moving humans. The first one's primary concern was precision, while the other was power. The first advocated for efficiency, while the second advocated for exhilaration. Both of these traditions, however, have a greater impact on one another than they ever had previously in today's global market. Under the hood, you are experiencing a philosophy or a history, regardless of whether you are revving a Honda with 9,000 RPM or cruising in a Chevy with 6.2 V8. This is true regardless of the vehicle you are driving. The fact that engines do more than just drive vehicles, they move culture, is probably the most beautiful aspect of these mighty machines. Enjoyed this deep dive? Hit subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments.